Hello everybody, myself Dr. Shekhi Pratima, Ahmednagar Jilla Maratha Vidya Prasarak Samajaj, New Arts, Commerce and Science College, Ahmednagar. In last video, we have studied the meaning of the supply, definition of supply, and also the different concept like output, stock, and supply. These all concepts related to the production like a goods and services. You know the definition of the supply. The Paul Samuelson will explain the one of the most important definition of supply. Supply refers to the relationship between the market prices and amount of goods that producers are willing to supply. So this definition will explain the one of the important thing is the willingness. The producer's willingness is important and always consider the particular period of time. It means the quantity of a commodity that a seller is willing and able to offer for sale at a given period of time and during a given price. So that is called as the supply. So in the last video, we always discussed the one of the most important example, like the agricultural related, otherwise the farmers related example. So in this video, we have discussed the next point, like the supply schedule. See, there is a direct relationship between the price and quantity supply. Basically, supply schedule is a tabular representation. It's explain the relationship between the price and quantity supplied of a particular commodity. There are two schedules. Means the supply schedule, there are two schedules. First is the individual supply schedule and second is the market supply schedule. So let's be discussed the individual supply schedule. So the individual supply schedule, it refers to a tabular representation showing various quantities of a commodity that a producer is willing to sell at various prices during a given period of time. Means what? The two things is most important for that the individual supply schedule. Like it's also the supply schedule. Okay. So the first and most important is that commodities price. And second is a particular period of time. Means these two things will explain what is the relationship between the price and that particular commodity supply. So basically individual supply schedule means a single seller supply. This can be shown by the individual supply schedule. The one of the most important schedule means the tabular representation is most important for that individual supply schedule. If you have to see in your screen, the one, the tabular representation and second is the graphical representation. So the supply schedule, it is the clear that the quantity supplied of a commodity X. Means in this schedule, we have selected X commodity. We have to select any commodity. The first column is like a price of a commodity X in rupees per kilogram. And this second column is supply of a commodity X in kilograms. See now, the first price is the lowest price, that is called as the lowest price of that particular commodity, means the X commodity, the 10 rupees per kilogram, and the highest price is the 50 rupees per kilogram. In between the different the changes of that prices means it's a rising price. It's explain the rises of that price. Then next column is the supply for commodity X. See, the first is the 10 rupees per kilogram price. So that time supply is only for that 100 kilograms in X commodity. And if you have to see the column, every price will explain the direct relationship between the price and supply. Like the 50 rupees per kilograms, it's the highest price on that column. And the supply, it is like a 500 kilograms, means rising the price, rising the supply. So this part will the convert in the graphical representation. See now, individual supply curve. It's a graphical representation. This schedule will also explain the functional relationship between the price and quantity supplied of a commodity. It's also shown that the price and supply, it's a direct related. Means the higher the price, higher the supply, and lower the price and lower the supply. So let's we study the individual supply curve. It is a graphical representation of the individual supply schedule. OX axis measures the quantity supplied in kilograms and OY axis measures the price in rupees. See, the first price is rupees 10 rupees. So that time the supply of X commodity, it is a 100 kilograms. See, the SS is the supply curve and it's drawn as a straight line, that is the linear curve. The supply curve slope is upward from left to right. It has a positive slope. That means the price is rise, so that time supply is rises. It means the 50 rupees per kilogram, it is the highest price, so that time supply is 500 kilograms. So this part will explain the relationship between the price and supply, and it's a directly related. So let's we discuss the second schedule of the supply. It's like a market supply schedule. It's the second schedule. So it refers to a tabular representation showing the different quantities of a commodity which all producers are prepared to sell at different prices at a given period of time. Means what? It's obtained to the horizontal summation of all individual supply. This market supply schedule explained with the help of table given below. Means it's assumed that the market consists of three sellers, like a seller A, seller B, and seller C. So if you have to see in your screen the individual supply schedule, the market supply schedule. So that schedule will explain the three seller, means we have select the single different commodities and the price is different. See, the market supply is obtained by the adding the supply of sellers like A, B, and C at different prices. At a higher price is the 50 rupees per kilogram. So on that time, the A plus B plus C means the summation of these three sellers supply. It's like a first, it is the 1800 kilograms. Means the higher the price, it is like a 50 rupees per kilogram. So that time supply is higher at a 1800 kilograms. Then let's we discussed the next point. Another point is like a lowest price of rupees 10. So the market supply is also lowest in 600 kilograms. So that is the tabular representation. This representation will explain the two things. The first is the price. We have already selected the three sellers, and these three sellers will supply the different quantity of a commodity. See now, and the next column is the market supply, means A plus B plus C. So this schedule will explain the relationship between the price and supply. It's a direct relationship. We just convert that the market supply schedule in a graphical representation. So the market supply curve. It is a graphical representation of market supply schedule. So the OX-axis measures the quantity supplied in kilograms and Y-axis measures the price in rupees. See, the SS is the supply curve whose slope is upward from left to right. It's also indicate the direct relationship between the price and market supply. See now, the supply curve slope is positive. It's a linear curve. It's a left to right upward. So this curve will also explain the direct relationship between the price and supply. See now, what is the difference between the demand schedule and supply schedule? In the demand schedule, we have discussed the inverse relationship between demand and price. I will remember that. I want to say to you that the relationship between the demand and price, I think you have understood that point. The demand schedule, the price of that commodity and demand for that particular commodity, it's an inverse relationship. And in this, the supply schedule, it's a direct relationship. Means higher the price of the commodity, higher the quantity supplied, and lower the price of the commodity, lower the quantity supplied. So that is called as the supply schedule. Okay. I think the all students, it's a better understood for that part. So goodbye everybody.